Okay, so today I'm going to go over the elements of a hive and just introduce you to a couple beekeeping tools and equipment. So this is a hive tool. It's good for prying the frames, and just generally while you're working the hives you can scrape excess wax off, and it's very useful. And you only want to have designated hive tools for each hive you're working. This is my box where I keep my smoker. Since I am only demonstrating, my lighter's not my smoker's not lit, and so this is my smoker. And whenever you're working with the bees, you'll smoke, and then you always want to place it in a can. And so I have my can on this rock, and I do have my water source right here. There's a hose and a spigot. So moving to the hive. This is a Langstroth hive setup. I have a solid bottom board. Some people use a screen bottom board, but I choose the solid one. Right now I have a robbing screen on. I put that on mid-August. I'm in Southern California, so these bees I think were robbed before I got the robbing screen on, so it's actually an empty hive right now, unfortunately. So this is a robbing screen. This is an entrance reducer, so it goes right there, and then you can, if you have a small hive, you would have the opening smaller, but as the hive grows, the colony grows, you want to keep it opened, and it's good for air, controlling the temperature of the hive. So this is an entrance reducer, a robbing screen, and then we have a brood box, or a deep box, and I have two deep I'm doing because the bees actually were occupied. The whole colony took up both the boxes when they were strong. And then this is an inner cover, and I have it on my super, which is a shallow box, because I was feeding the bees, and I'll show you that in a moment. This cover that I'm using out here is a migratory cover, and this is a top feeder. And so depending on the time of year, what's going on with the bees, I either have heavy syrup in there or just water with a little bit of sea salt. Pink sea salt. Pink salt. This is a hive stand, and that prevents rodents and pests, and it protects the gear from from getting deteriorating. And then underneath I just have trays on blocks with tanglefoot on the rim, and the dishes are inverted, and the theory is the ants can't get in there. So those are the parts of the hive. Oh, and the last part I wanted to show was this is a queen excluder, and so if I had the super on without the feeder in it, and I had the frames in there, I would put this on top of the brood box, and it would allow the workers to go through, but it would not allow the queen because she can't fit through there. And so then the honey would just be honey, and she wouldn't lay eggs, blah, blah, blah. I forgot one thing my frames. I use plastic frames with wooden frames with plastic cell-right foundation. And so these are the frames, and this is a 10 frame box. So I think those are all the components of my hive, or a hive. And that's all. Right here is a drone. I should try and pick them up. I'm not going to try and pick them up, but there's a drone, and all these others are workers. So the drone's noticeably larger. So now I've taken the super off, and I'm going to do an inspection and just see how the bees are doing. Hopefully I'll find some brood, a apparently, not apparently, but it is the time for the drones have gotten kicked out of the hive, so I'm not sure how many drones I have. Hopefully we'll spot the queen. My queens are not marked on this hive, so that makes it a little trickier. Unfortunately, earlier in the week when we checked one of my the other hive, we discovered the queen was missing. So we're just going to take a look at this and see if we see the queen, which I wouldn't imagine she'd be here. A retinue. I don't see a retinue. I don't see anything indicating there's a queen, but I'm not seeing any drones either, which is to be expected because of going into fall. Alright, here's the queen excluder that I had talked about when I went over the hive components. I'm going to give it another whiff of smoke. And the queen exploder, when you have the super, it allows the workers to go through but not the queens. And so that's what that does. But I'm going to take that off for the winter because we're not going to need it. And I don't see that bees look healthy. These bees are usually generally docile. And I think they're pretty docile today. Would you agree, Charles?
Oh yeah.
They're not pinging. We put this away for storage. The last hive inspection I did, I found hive beetles. So I put some small hive beetle traps in, and that's what this is here. And I was using diametraceous, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, earth in it, and it looks like I caught a few. Looks to be about 5 to 7 in that trap. So now we're going to take out the frames. I use wooden frames with right shell yellow foundation. That's so. Again, I'm inspecting the brood box. And so let's see what we find. These bees look happy. I'm only seeing workers. Whoa, look, all capped honey. I guess I uncapped it when I took it away, which is a bummer because that makes the bees work harder. So the queen definitely wouldn't be here. There's a little build-up comb, but no eggs or larvae or anything in there. It's empty. So we're going to take out the next frame. I'm just going to mention it again to make sure I hit that point. And that is, oh, this one's heavy. This is a wooden frame. Wow. I don't know. I'd say this is close to 10 pounds. This is all capped honey and uncapped honey. So no evidence of eggs being laid. Wow. And yeah, all capped honey. I'm not seeing any eggs or bee bread or pollen. But there's capped honey and honey on the cell. I think. So these guys look like they are prepared for the winter with all that honey. Okay. What do you see? Okay, this has a little capped. Oh, in these frames you can see honey, the capped brood, and some bee bread down there at the bottom. And then as we zoom in, you can see open brood. And there's capped honey in the right top corner. On this frame, there was capped brood. Okay, so let's go to the next frame and see if we can find. Wait. That was the queen. I thought I spotted the queen, but she might be in the sunlight. A lot of capped brood. Oh, bee bread. I see some bee bread in there. Pollen, nectar. There's some nectar in that one. I'm not seeing the queen. I'm not seeing a drone. Wait, there's a drone. Okay, right here is a drone. I should try and pick him up. I'm not going to try and pick him up, but there's a drone, and all these others are workers. So the drone's noticeably larger. He must be a friendly drone because he's not being kicked out of the hive. So this has lots of capped brood, bee bread, pollen, a drone cell. Found the queen. We found the queen, and she's at the bottom of this. She's right there. Right there. So now I have to be really careful that I don't. Okay, I'm going to put her back in there. That's great.